Hey, it's Amelia, aka Big Tit.
And I'm Natasha, aka Little Tit.
And together, we're the Graveyard Girls.
Hello.
Welcome.
It's the Graveyard Girls. Or this episode, Big Tit, Little Tit.
Yes.
We, before we begin, we've had a surge of new listeners, so we want to thank everyone.
Some new ones. I don't know if it's because we've tried something a bit different.
Yeah.
Or if we've just got lucky and people have come back.
So,
I don't know.
New people, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And ones that come back every week.
Yeah,
so
ones
thank you.
that are silly enough to keep coming back. Thank you very much.
Yes, we greatly appreciate it.
We do.
We sat down and we watched the Murdaugh thing on Netflix, didn't we?
Yes.
That's called the Southern Scandal. So before we get into it properly, I just want to go through kind of like some points that I wrote down.
Okay.
So there was like 5 bodies in 6 years that are like tagged to this family.
Right, okay. So just a few.
And then the 4th generation is Alex Murdaugh. And so this family goes back like a century. And all these have been solicitors and lawyers. And these were apparently the law and order of this town. The Murdaughs let their sons drink pretty early on, gave them alcohol to other-age children as well. So
yeah,
I think
felt like they had free reign sort of thing, like pretty wild, big parties.
Which is not great because, like, yes, it's kind of like, oh, if you're going to drink, I want you to do it where I can see you.
Yeah, but it's also I think they had more money than sense. Like, it's your classic, like, your stereotypical, you know, when you watch American things where, like, rich kids just go wild. Like, that's...
It's like, they can get away with it. It's like, but they're children. Even Paul's girlfriend, Morgan, she came to Maggie, who is the murdered woman, about Paul's drinking. And then she was just like, oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah, she seemed pretty chilled about it.
Yeah. And it appeared that Maggie was a detached mother to Paul, but she adored Buster.
Yeah.
Which is like, we'll get into that later, but Gloria seemed to be the...
She's got a favourite.
And Paul felt like he was the black sheep of the family, and he found maternal love from his housekeeper, Gloria, and Paul loved her. We'll discuss this later, but Paul crashes the car with his girlfriend, and she goes to call 911. Yeah. Apparently Paul was abusive. Paul drove the boat drunk, killing Mallory. Alex tried covering it up, saying Paul's friend was the named driver of the boat, but not to worry, as he would represent all the kids in the crash.
Yeah, well, I didn't like that part of the documentary.
No, I didn't like that. Yeah, Mallory's mother wasn't allowed down to the scene of the crash, as she's there, she sees Paul's granddad and mother just allowed to waltz in. Yeah. That wasn't very nice either. Yeah,
it's like they just own everything and it doesn't matter. They don't care, do they?
Yeah. Law enforcement never called Mallory's parents. Even after the crash that killed Mallory, Paul's behaviour didn't change. The gun that killed Maggie is one Murdaugh owned, but none of theirs was turned over to the police to rule them out, which is very strange.
Yeah, they've never been found, have they?
No. And in 2015, this is when Stephen is killed. This is one of the first murders linked to that family.
Yeah.
That comes up later, and Gloria dies on the property in 2018.
I know, poor Gloria. I liked Gloria.
Yeah, I like Gloria. So we'll talk about what we...
Yeah, we'll go into a bit kind of each of those points in a bit more depth throughout the episode.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners. My name is Kayla, and I am the creator and host of a new podcast called Dark Tales from the Road. We cover true crime, spooky, creepy, and ghostly stories, and I want to take you state by state and country by country to bring you stories you may not have even heard of before, and also learn some history on the city and the state where it takes place. So join me on the road as we discover dark tales. New episodes are posted every Wednesday. I have an Instagram, Facebook, and a Patreon, all at Dark Tales from the Road. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great day.
So this week we sat down to watch that Murdaugh thing on Netflix.
I don't know, I just remember looking at the Murdaugh thing because that's what I typed in.
Yeah.
Because that's what you told me to watch. So
I did.
Do as I'm told, because I'm a good girl like that. So...
Well, no, because now that trial's ended and it ended in a conviction, we kind of felt it was kind of like time
Yeah,
to
you'd have a
talk
look.
about it.
Yeah, you'd obviously mentioned it in our episode the other week. So
Yeah.
I was a bit like, okay, that sounds interesting. So then I was a bit curious to find out a bit more. Like, you know, when I started listening to it, I was like, I wonder when it's going to get to the bit that Natasha told me about. And it was quite, like, it wasn't different. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it also kind of was.
No, because like it kind of starts off with like 5 bodies in like 6 years or something related to this family, and I was just like, okay. I kind of remember that from a podcast because I was listening to the Murdaugh Murders podcast before this.
Yeah, see, I hadn't looked at much on this. I'd seen, like, when it cropped up and it showed the family, I was like, oh, I do recognise that guy from there, but I think it's more like, you know, when they've showed him, like, do they still call it shackles in America? You know, like when they bring them in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for in the court thing. Like, I'd seen bits of that, and you know when, like, you just see little clips of it, but you're not massively paying too much attention to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'd sort of seen. And then, but I don't think it really registered as to what it was. I thought it was just a thing trending at the time and didn't pay too much attention. Then I was like, oh, yeah, no, I do remember this guy now.
Yeah, because I think I kind of like started listening to that podcast just before he was arrested for his son and wife's murder.
Okay.
And then after it started, it was like, it's like he's been arrested for this because he's also done like financial crimes, and then it's different. So watching
there was a hell of a lot of financial crimes at the end. Like, wasn't it over 100 or something?
There's millions. Yeah,
no, I mean like over 100 separate convictions, financial convictions. When I was looking at it, I was like, fucking hell, it's like not even one.
Yeah, because the problem with the Netflix thing, it didn't like cover everything, because in the podcast it was like one of his clients suffered I think it was an accident. He ended up being like paraplegic, so he couldn't move anything. I think he was on life support, and he ended up dying, I believe. I could be wrong. And then his family never received the insurance payout, which would have helped him.
Okay, so that's similar to the bit like in the documentary with the housekeeper.
Yes.
Where her family didn't.
Yes.
But yeah.
Also with the housekeeper as well. That was a suspicious death.
Yeah, but weirdly... Oh, see, I don't like doing this, because then, like I said, well, some of the families still love it. It's a bit harsh, but like, I thought the wife was a bit suspicious in that. I don't even think it was him. And then, like...
No, I don't think it was Alex. I think Maggie, during that time, it seemed like she may have done something to Gloria. Because she was just like, oh, yeah, she tripped over the dogs.
She didn't trip over the fucking
Yeah, because even, was it girlfriend of Paul?
Paul,
he said, like, she wouldn't have tripped over the dogs.
Yeah, because he was like... He obviously really likes the housekeeper, because like the way they put it in the documentary is that she brought him up more than the parents.
She was the one that would provide him with the paternal and the maternal love, because his mom and dad just was kind of like
doing their own thing.
Yeah,
but also I feel like he was a bit of a rebel. Like he didn't necessarily follow.
Yeah, but if he's never
how the family expected him to act, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but if he's never shown like love or compassion, like what do you expect? He's gonna act out in that way, isn't he?
I don't know. The whole thing's weird. The thing I didn't like about it is like, and my sister pointed this out, because like I said, I ended up watching it with hers. You didn't learn anything about her family. I wanted to know how the mum ended up marrying him, because I felt like, would she have come from money? Because typically a lot of these people family, they marry other people with money. There was nothing about her side of the family, so like it didn't, because even like they'd be like grandparents or uncles or aunties, and I don't know whether she had any of her family, and I wanted to know more about them. Was it a case of after she got with Murdaugh, like she cut her family off?
I don't know. Her sister did testify at the trial, and her sister said like she convinced her sister to go be with him that night, because Alex was like, I need you here. Yeah. And Maggie was like, I'm not sure if I want to be there. So I think she was still like talking to her family.
Yeah.
But what her family came from, no idea.
Right, okay. It's just, the whole thing. It's definitely like they've spent years covering stuff up and they got away with it.
Of course
for
they
a
have.
long time.
Of course they have. But is that like from like Alec, or is it from before?
I think the other generations have done it as well. I think they've always been doing it, and like just the next one they just presume they'll also get away with it. I don't think he was the first one in the family to have done it.
No, because hold on, let me consult my notes. So, Alec is the 4th generation. So, have the other generations been doing it before?
I think so. Yeah, I think they set it up. It's like not like a Freemasons thing, but also it kind of is.
Yeah, because what they said in the show, it was like the Murdaughs with the law and order for over a century, and it's like
Which
you
would
can't.
be easier in an area like that because it is so little town and everyone knows everyone.
Yeah,
It will be easier to be able to do that, if that makes sense.
yeah, it is. So yeah, then in like in the very first episode, it's talking about like Paul and his drinking.
Yeah, because I think like it was weird because they kind of spent the first couple of episodes like it was more about Paul, like it was building up obviously the whole boat thing. Obviously, like it's very important and quite crucial to the thing, but the whole thing was weird. It was just then not like it was rushed at the end about the other murders, but it's just like casually mentioned the other people that might be involved. Like I know they couldn't have gone into much detail because there isn't any proof that he actually was involved in those murders, so they can't go. I suppose they maybe couldn't have put more detail.
Well, I'm not saying it was like Alec. It's just deaths relating to that family. Because like it's now like Buster may have killed Stephen.
Yeah, see, this is what me and Clara, and it's hard because this is why I still don't like covering current things. But the one thing my sister, because it ruins people's life. My sister's convinced that everything was to do with Buster because she went, why do they just gloss over him and don't say anything about him? Like, my sister's convinced everything was him, even the mum and the brother. She thinks it was Buster, and the dad took the blame. Because you would get why he's saying, like, he's lost his wife and his son. Like, would the brother be jealous? Like, oh, the mum's going to divorce the dad, so it risks, like, ruining the family. He might not get on with his brother, blah, blah, blah. If other stuff comes out with the murder, let's hype off the sides. Like, he kills the mum and brother, even though apparently I think he's supposed to be 200 miles away. Because I said...
I don't think he was that far away.
I don't know where I got the 200 miles from then.
He was definitely a distance away.
That way. But yeah, so someone said it couldn't have been him. But then my sister was like, well, he could have just paid someone to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's convinced that he did all of it. And the dad was like, the family's already falling apart. He has maybe done the financial crimes. And he thought, well, I'm already going to get in shit for that. So I'll just take the murders as well.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense. But then also, this is why it's shit and I don't like covering it now. Because if we do that and then someone runs with it, like, I don't think I'm that influential that someone could then go and arrest him based on purely on what I've said.
From looking online, people do think Buster had something to do with
because they just mention like nothing about him in the documentary.
And like,
is that for his protection? Is it just because he's refused to corroborate, you know, with the Netflix thing, so they can't really post anything because they don't have the information?
Yeah.
Or is it because he's just so good at hiding, like there isn't anything out there?
Because it was in that where they covered that guy with the drone in the YouTube.
Yes,
and you see
he's
them
the one removing the guns.
And there's a possible two-shooter theory.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I still think it was one and they thought it would be a good way to get away with it. It would confuse people.
And then they never, like, handed over that gun for...
Yeah. And it's still not been, from what I can work out, it's still not been put forward.
No.
So, like I said, I don't like throwing people like that under the bus, but I get where the theory comes from. And like I said, like, he has a lot to... Well, he doesn't have a lot to answer because he doesn't answer himself. If the court are happy with what they've got, like, that's up to them. But also, there's so many questions surrounding him that you kind of wish he would come out and say something just to either clear it up or if he has something wrong, then kind of trip himself up.
He did, or at the time of recording this, a few days ago, he did release a statement, or he did say, like, he had nothing to do with Stephen's death.
Yeah, but every murderer is going to say that.
It does seem very convenient that, like, Buster doesn't seem affected emotionally.
Yeah, because I wondered, like, what happens to him financially now?
I don't know.
Would his grandparents support him?
I think his granddad died. I think his grandma's got dementia. I don't know about Maggie's parents.
Yeah, and is there any more? Because the dad, didn't he have brothers?
Yeah, he's got a lot of brothers. That's the one that was, like, seen with Buster removing the guns in that video.
So would they financially support him so he's not in the shit?
But he is also 26, I think, so he can support himself.
Oh, no, I know he can support himself. But, because there was a whole thing as well with, like, plagiarism and stuff like that. Like,
so he got kicked out. Yeah.
So, I know he can support himself, but in terms of, like, the family...
The family money.
Yeah. And
I don't know if Maggie's...
I don't want to say empire, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. I think Maggie's supposed to have money, but no one seems to know where that is. So unless Alex...
So, fluttered that away with his other financial stuff. Because that's what I'm thinking. If he's really fucked up with all the money, then there technically won't be anything for the son because I'll have to take it back.
Yeah, because it's also weird because it seems like they're supposed to have all these millions and then they're supposed to be in financial trouble. Yeah. That's why Alex is stealing all this money. So which is it?
I think he's probably entered into some scheme. You know, like, there was another thing where it was like, it seemed like a good idea, but then it ended up collapsing, where basically you get people to give you money, say it's going to be schemes to sit in, and then you lend the money that those people are giving you to other people, and the idea is then they repay it back. So then if the original people ask for it back...
You mean a Ponzi scheme?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, so had he got involved in one of those, he started borrowing a bit more, and then, like, I don't know, someone couldn't pay up or someone didn't, and then all of a sudden they needed free funds and he didn't have any. It's like, it's okay, I'll take it out of the law firm. It won't matter. And then it happened again and again. Like, you know, once you've got yourself in that sort of shit, and then you've got to keep, I don't know, like, it gets harder to get out of it, and then more people are involved, so you've then either got more people to pay off or more people that could possibly be asking. You know, like, when things crash, like the Wall Street crash, all of a sudden everyone's going to want the money, and then you're like, oh wait, shit, everyone wants the money now, and I didn't actually have the money in the first place. And then he's tripped up.
Yeah, and he's also supposed to have a drug addiction that's supposed to cost like 50,000 a week, which is
weird, because one, I don't really feel like he looked like he had, like, I know a lot of people can hide it.
Yes.
But for that amount of money that he's supposed to be spending on drugs, he did not look like he had that much of a drug problem.
No. So that's
maybe a mild drug problem, but
I think the whole thing is like, it's such a, like, most of it doesn't make sense. And then you're like, well, why that? And like, why that?
There's a part of me that when I watched it, I felt like part of it was like a bit of a dramatic effect sort of thing. Like, I felt like they would have been better if they just stuck to the whole boat thing rather than trying to add the other bits in the case, because it's all sort of like, those other deaths do seem suspicious, but there's nothing on them yet in the ongoing cases. So, like, I don't see how they managed to make it into the whole, like, you know, like the Murdaugh murders. I felt like it should have explained, like, why they think that maybe he did it, whereas I think they spent the first half of the series doing the whole boat thing, and then you're just like, oh yeah, there's these other random bodies have appeared, and we think that they're him.
Well, I think because, like, looking into the boat crash and then looking into Paul and Maggie's murder, that, like, opens each other up, and then, like, looking into that, you see their name pop up in other deaths, so therefore you're like, well, that's odd. Yeah,
because didn't you say there was more than the ones that were mentioned in that documentary?
Yeah.
So who are they? Because I didn't look. I just watched the series.
I could be wrong. I can't remember the man's name, but his insurance money didn't come through. Alex appeared to have stolen that. That was insurance.
So that was through his law firm?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe that person died.
Okay.
Because, like, yeah, Paul, I think Alec was trying to use the boat crash into being like, oh, this is what got Paul and Maggie killed, when it turns out it's like, well, you know, you did it.
Yeah.
To cover up his financial crimes.
Yeah, because, like, one, Paul has obviously opened up everything else because people had to start investigating him. So, like, because when I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, in terms of Alec being guilty, you could look at it from a perspective of, obviously, now everyone's had to investigate because of what Paul did. Therefore, that's now what has revealed all of Alec's problems. Or even though I feel like if it hadn't have been revealed, then the problem wouldn't have got better. It's not like he could have covered it up and then given everyone back the money. It would have just carried on getting worse anyway.
Yeah.
But would that be the motive for him? And then the wife was obviously trying to leave. And again, leaving with divorce, you've got to open up all of your finances. It gives another opportunity. And then, like, maybe she didn't know about the finances, and it would then have to open up the whole thing. You'd have to admit that he never actually had the money in the first place. So he's like, well, if she's not here anymore, then it could either be like he's possessive over her, or he didn't want her to find out about the financial things. He's hoping it was just going to be brushed under the carpet.
He did seem a little bit controlling. It's like, you see after the boat crash, and he's just like, this is what happened. This is what he's trying to control every situation, and everyone's there like, but Paul also, was driving.
But I also don't get how he had that much power over the other families.
Because he's, like they say, he's law and order in that town. So, like, maybe the police officers are... It's like his own brother went to retrieve the boat. That shouldn't be allowed.
No, it shouldn't. But, you know, like, even in the hospital, like, the nurses, would they not be like, no, you can't do that? It's like he was trying to run a courtroom from the hospital.
Yeah.
But
if
maybe
he's
it's just...
used
maybe it's
to
more a thing there. But, like, you know, like, here, like, I feel like our nurses would be like, no, this is a rule. Like, you know, like, sometimes, like, nurses can be, like, really forceful. They're like, no, this is the hospital. You're not doing that here. Like, I think one nurse did question something, but...
Yeah. That when she... is her name Miley?
They've all got M's.
Yeah.
There was...
Mallory died. There's Miley and...
Oh, my God.
Oh.
It wasn't Millie. There was 3 M's. Because all I kept thinking is, fucking hell, they've all got the same...
Morgan.
There we go.
Morgan. As she was having her hand stitched up, she was like, do not let that man in here.
Yeah, I do remember that bit from the thing.
But like...
But where's like hospital security? Or is he paying them as well?
I don't think he's paying... I think he's so influential that it doesn't matter. That he could be, oh, okay, he's here to take care of them.
Power, though?
It clearly got to their head. Because Paul was just... He could get away with anything. This is the problem.
I don't think he was in that sense. I don't think he was like the family. I think he was fed up of being stuck in that thing. And the reason he acted out was because of that.
Yeah, but if he was raised better, like taken care of, one, he wouldn't be drinking all the time. That wouldn't end up in the boat crash in the first place. Mallory wouldn't have died. It wouldn't have been this in the end.
Can you imagine how like weird all these other things would have, like how out of control would it have got if the boat thing hadn't have happened?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't ended up this way.
I'd be interested to look at the older generations and see if there was like more suspicious steps.
Or just lots of covering up. It's very convenient.
Yeah.
Just like look the other way. Because
it was like with the body with the Stephen one, where the way he was done, it was like his head was blooding, but like it wasn't because he was hit by a car. But they tried to cover it up and make it like, yeah, he was just hit by a car.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was in the show or not, but from what people have said, it's like someone was driving by, whacked him with a bat at a
something
speed,
in his head.
So he got that thing, but he wasn't hit by a car because of everything. So he was clearly targeted.
It was the attempted suicide thing on... I'm not going to lie, that did make me laugh. It was a bit bad, but...
And then he's like, oh yeah,
did he actually think that was going to work?
Yeah.
But why?
Well, because everything else he's tried to do has kind of worked. Up until now.
How you control that many people?
It's just funny where he's like, oh yeah, I was parked on the side of the road trying to change my tyre. Then I was shot in the head. The first thing
you're so
do.
casual about it. Yeah. That was the thing. It was like really calm. Like, yeah, but where have you been shot? No, there was a thing. Me and Clara. Oh, I can't remember what it was. One of the call taker things, and I think she was like, And then me and Clara were pissing ourselves because it was her reaction. Like, it was so. She was like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely fucking brilliant.
Because in the podcast, I didn't know this. I don't think it's over here. But before America picks, like their 911 operators pick up, it starts recording.
Right, okay.
It heard dogs barking. It didn't hear him. As soon as he like realizes someone's picking up, he starts crying, and he's like, "Oh my!"
But I don't think he did sound that emotional in the call.
No, he wasn't. But like he was like fake crying. But like you could hear like all this stuff before he starts fake crying. Yeah. It's like, if you're crying, you start crying. You're crying anyway. You don't have to start crying.
Yeah, you don't have to start crying partway through the thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't even think it sounded like he was crying.
No, it was just like, like
his voice was a bit shaky.
Yeah. And then it's like, he doesn't get to the point. He fills out too much stuff.
Yeah, it's like she's asking him the questions and he's not answering the questions.
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, I checked them. He did not check them because do you know what happened to them?
Yeah, they were both shot in the head. One in the neck and the back.
So Maggie was shot a few times, and then, but like the way it happened, I think she did get shot in the back, and then one of them kind of went up through her boob and then out.
Okay.
Buster got shot in the chest with a shotgun.
Don't you mean Paul?
Thank you, Paul. Paul got shot in the chest with a shotgun. Didn't kill him.
Okay.
So he was like he was walking towards whoever killed him. That person shot him like here, like up here, and his brain came out.
Nice.
His brain came out the hole, and he was like, oh yeah, I checked him. He would have been covered in stuff if he checked their pulses and stuff. And then he's like, oh no, I didn't check them. You can't say you checked their pulse.
But
or
also,
he's like, I can see his brain.
I didn't see the actual court stuff, but like, what was the blood spatter like on him? Because I feel like even if he was from a distance and like he shot them, shouldn't he be covered in blood spatter? But I don't remember that being said anywhere, which is what made Clara think it wasn't him anyway. He just turned up afterwards.
There was a Snapchat video before the murders took place.
Yeah.
He was wearing completely different clothes.
Right, okay.
That he's caught with later.
Yeah, because you as well, I remember you mentioned about the nurse thing about the traumatic time, because I remember I was waiting for that bit in the documentary, then it wasn't mentioned, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah, so from my understanding, they were all in the kennels together.
right,
The dad, Maggie, and Paul, they were all there. I don't
okay.
think Buster was there. Paul was recording a Snapchat video. You could hear Alec in the background.
Yeah.
This was like minutes before.
Okay.
That gets sent to his friend, all gone. Then their phones both stop working, so there's no activity. So therefore, they're constantly on their phones. So this is an indicator that something's happened to them.
Okay. So have they switched off their phone?
They've just not touched it. They've not.
Okay.
It doesn't appear active.
Okay.
Alec is then appears to woken from a nap, go to his mum's, which is
Right.
where the nurse is.
Yeah.
And this is where he's like, oh, I've been here for 40 minutes when he's only been there for 20 minutes.
Right. Okay.
He has something with him wrapped up in tarp. Don't know what it is. It's never found.
Right.
It's never, might be the gun, might be his clothes. It's never,
But I thought the brothers and the uncle removed.
that
guns
might be
later.
something else.
Okay.
So Alec comes back and then
To the
it's
house.
supposed to be like,
That's when he discovers it.
but it's also like he goes to the house, he goes to the kennels, which is quite far, so he drives there, then he phones the thing. Looking at the records, it's supposed to take him 19 or 17 seconds. It shouldn't be long enough for him to check on his things. It's literally, he's turned up, he's made the phone call to 911.
Okay.
So his timeline doesn't make sense.
Which makes them like he either obviously knew about it for a while. They've obviously convicted him guilty, so they believe that he did it. But could it be that it was someone else, and then he already knows about it? Because he could have still been there, but more as a witness than a
Yes. Buster is apparently somewhere else with his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's where I picked up on. I'm sure it said 200 miles. I don't know where I got the 200 miles.
It might
but
be
that figure
200.
seems to be doing, because I was like, yeah, it definitely couldn't have been him. But then like my sister kept saying, well, we could have paid someone.
I don't
To do
trust
it.
him.
I just don't like the fact there's nothing on him, and like you haven't heard anything from him since. Like, and part of it, he might just be trying to keep himself private. Because let's be honest, if two of your family members have had the brains blown out and your dad's in jail, and not just for the murders but for all the other criminal shit, you're probably gonna want to keep quiet and lay low.
It's like, I did see some of the trial, and then all of a sudden Alex started calling his son and his wife these nicknames that have never been heard before. And it's like Paw and Mags, and you see Buster kind of like think like, I've never heard that. That's what I thought. It's like, why so it's like trying to be like, I would never hurt Paw, I would never hurt Mags. And he's always like, I would never hurt them. He's like, I would never kill them. That's his.
Yeah.
It's very odd the way he says it. And I watched this guy on YouTube who has a channel called Observe. He's like
Okay.
a body language expert. He's always saying like, what I do you can't use in court as because I don't know well enough this people's
Okay,
behavior.
so it's like not speculation, but
Yeah.
like this is
Yeah.
how he perceives
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So he did Alec and he also did Buster.
yeah.
He said he doesn't believe Buster was lying on the stand,
Okay.
but he was like, yeah, Alex was clearly lying.
Maybe one's just better at keeping the cool than the other.
That's
one.
what he also put in the description. Is that maybe is Buster a better liar than his dad?
I just don't like because there seems to be nothing on the background like Buster and his friends, and I know technically there's no proof to say he did anything, so it would have also been a bit weird in the documentary if they had done a bit more on the brother. But I also want to know more about the brother.
Which is difficult because, like, I've heard some of their phone calls because it was in the podcast. And, like, his brother doesn't seem... One, it doesn't sound like he doesn't want to talk to his dad.
Yeah.
It's like he's doing it to please his dad. It's like, what can
to
he
be
get
fair,
from
it's
it?
probably all of his dad's got left.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what happened with the other, like I said, the other family members, like the brother and stuff. Like I want to know what like they've come out and said. You know, the dad's brother, so it would be Paul's uncle. Like, where do they stand on it? Are they like really backing them, or
One definitely is that John Marvin, he's there all the time.
yeah? Because then wasn't the other one to do with the law firm?
I think-
the
I
law
think
firm
they-
like pretty much ditched him as soon as they found out about the thing. But I feel like more of those within the law firm knew about what was going on.
I think the ones in the law firm legally had to separate themselves because it's like he's taken money from the law firm. It was on our watch, essentially. So,
yeah, you've got to distance yourself. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing was weird, but I don't know about the other murders. Oh, just boob to the mic.
I didn't hear anything, I don't think.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I don't know.
They are looking
They're
into...
definitely suspicious. I feel the housekeeper, when it was going to, I was like, no, they're going to kill the housekeeper off. Because the way it was described at the beginning of the thing, and like where the boat thing was, it was like she was still around for ages, like afterwards. Like I felt like she was still going to be there at the murder, and then when it brought in all the stuff about her, and I was like, wait, she was already dead.
Yeah, because it was the way they did it, it was like the boat crash first, and then Gloria, and then Stephen, but it was Stephen, Gloria, then the boat crash, and then Paul and Maggie.
So it's like she wouldn't have even been around for the whole boat thing to...
No, but I think that may have been a catalyst for Paul's drinking, which led to the deaths. Because he's grieving for the one and only like paternal or maternal figure in his life.
That would actually make quite a bit of sense. But yeah, I don't know, it's just the whole thing. But when they did say about the housekeeper, I was like, oh no, they're going to kill the housekeeper off. And then when they do it on the dogs, my sister's reaction was, they can't blame it on the dogs. Yeah. And then it was just like that. They were very nice dogs though. And then, when they did that, I don't know why, but I felt the wife seemed a bit iffy in that one. I felt like she pushed her down the stairs or something.
Yeah, because she had like rib bruising. They have dug her up. What's the...
Exhumed.
Thank you. They have exhumed her.
I thought you were like lifting her like a Lion King.
They have exhumed her, so they're looking into her death.
Okay.
They're looking into Stephen's death as well.
Yeah, there was definitely more to it. I don't think Alec's responsible for either of them though.
It doesn't matter. It's that family. Because the show was like the family.
Yeah. Okay.
Not Alec.
Him on his own. But yeah, I feel like maybe if it came out and it was going to look like it was a son, I still feel like Alec could probably cover for him and then make it out.
Yeah, like I did think that as well. And that's why
Because I think he's just trying to protect the last bit of the family. Because technically now Buster's the only one that could sort of like not reprieve the family, but like could get it back to the dynasty that it was before.
If it could.
So if he could just let him go and let him do his life and just be like please don't kill anyone else. Do you know what I mean? He could like rescue it. Whereas at the moment, like it kind of looks a bit shit for Buster.
I think it's just they could never get back to the legacy that they had. They've messed it too much.
Unless the uncles could.
Even no, I think.
Do you think now people
tainted.
wouldn't even give them?
No, it's tainted. Anything that's like related to a Murdaugh, you're going to be like, we know what that did.
Yeah, but then I feel a bit sorry then for the rest of the family in that sense.
Yeah, I do feel sorry for Buster.
If there's cousins, so like if the uncles, like if they've then gone on to have kids, you just be like, oh yeah, you're that murder family.
Well, yeah. In a way, I do feel sorry for Buster. Do I think he's entirely innocent? I don't know.
I feel like, okay, if you want to believe the whole he did murder them, I'm not going to say that he did. Even if he didn't do them, I feel like he did other crimes, even if it's petty crimes. You know, like traffic things and stuff like that. I feel like he had violations like Paul did. Oh, yeah. I don't think he's like, we already know he'd done his plagiarism. But they made it out like Paul was the wild child. I also feel like Buster did a lot. Yeah. And also, what's Buster's actual name? Is he the same as the dad?
Yes.
Is that what they call it? But why Buster?
I don't know. I think it's just weird.
Because I couldn't get that. Like all I kept thinking was, the kids cartoon, Arthur.
Yeah.
That's all I kept thinking every time. You got sneezes.
It's just a weird family name. It's just, it's obviously a generation thing. It's weird. I didn't like that Alec had control in the hospital where all these kids were.
I really didn't like that.
So I didn't like that. The police never informed Mallory's parents.
That's the one that got me. Is when the other mum asked. Wasn't it the mum of her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Because even I kept saying, like, how is, like, no one contacted the family? Like, shouldn't that be the first thing you do?
Yeah.
But I think that's also the start of their downfall, because that's what got them.
Yeah.
Was because no one did.
Yeah.
It was like they were waiting for Alec to give them the order of, like, can we get in contact with her family now to tell them it's her?
But that's
probably...
do
we just try and hide it for a bit longer?
Yeah, that probably goes back to, like, covering up for Paul, covering up for Buster, for, like, other traffic things. Yeah, because Paul had a car crash.
Yeah.
His dad... His granddad and his mum came.
Yes.
Because he
and
grabbed
there was
the
guns
phone.
in the back of the car.
So they removed all the guns.
Yeah, because didn't she try to ring?
And he grabbed the phone.
Yeah.
And he was
like,
abusive.
why the hell have you rang?
Yeah, he was abusive to his girlfriend.
Which I'm kind of not surprised about if he's got a bit of a drinking problem, to be fair. it wouldn't be a total shock, would it? But,
No.
I don't know, the whole thing.
I think it's just a tragic family.
But the thing is now, if the police spent so long covering stuff up, there also isn't really going to be much evidence. So are they ever going to be able to solve those other ones? I'm not convinced that they are. Unless there was more witnesses to it and someone genuinely comes forward. Like, you know, if they hypothesised, I think, that there was 3 lads involved in the one with Stephen. So if one of them didn't commit the murder but obviously knew what was going on, unless one of them came forward or they've told someone else and those people then come forward, I don't see how they're going to solve those.
There was a rumour that, like, some evidence was found of Stephen's death at the property.
Right, okay.
And that's why they've opened it. I don't know how true it is, but there was some rumours that there was some evidence found.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that is, I don't know. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think the whole family is like, it's a tragic situation. It didn't have to end this way.
It's why you just shouldn't let people have that much power in the first place.
Yeah, it's a family of lawyers. They shouldn't have that much family.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have that much power, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see how, can you imagine if, like, we became lawyers and then we're just like, yeah, we'll own, like, Leicester or whatever.
I don't think it works like that.
No, it definitely wouldn't happen here. But can you imagine if we just were like, yeah, we pay everyone and then...
Yeah.
I
don't even think some of it's not, like, payment. It's just your influence could jeopardize...
I bet there was money involved.
There might have been, but I think it's also, like...
Yeah, maybe those like, the policeman there, they had a family member that committed a crime, and, like, because he was a lawyer, like, he would have been testified, and he was like, so, okay, I can get him off the hook on this, but, like, you've got to do this for me.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of it was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's not how it should be run.
No, it's definitely not.
It's not how it works, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not proper justice then, is it? And then, like I said, in those other cases, so much evidence, well, it just wasn't even collected in the first place.
No.
Although, surprisingly, I'm surprised they didn't go more out of the way to try and then... I was waiting for them to, like, wrongly convict someone else.
Sorry. Something literally just popped up about this case.
It's listening to you, Natasha.
Rape kit performed on Stephen Smith within hours of death. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, it's a tragic family that shouldn't... Lots of deaths that were needless. It never needed to be this way. There's nothing we can really say. Like you said, this is why we don't like covering cases that are going on now.
Because there's so many questions around it, like, and you can't get enough information on it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't think the Stephen one and even the housekeeper is going to be proper. So even though they've reopened it, I don't think they're going to be able to solve it or definitively say it was a certain person.
No.
Because I don't think stuff was collected properly. But yeah, like I said, I genuinely thought with the Stephen one later on they were going to say that they've wrongly convicted someone else.
Yeah, no, nothing. It's just gone unsolved. Unfortunately. Hopefully...
Yeah, it'd be nice if they do, but I'll be honest, I'm not convinced that they will.
Even if it's, like, nothing to do with the Murdaughs, if they could find who did either of these murders...
Yeah.
Just solve it. If anything good could come from this.
Yeah, more for his family's peace of mind. And
that Gloria's sons do get the money that they are owed.
Yeah, poor little Gloria, pushed down the stairs. Well, I'm saying she was pushed down the stairs. I think she was pushed down
She was pushed down the stairs. Of course she was. Not by dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't trip backwards over those dogs. And don't blame the poor little doggies.
No. It's just,
what did they do?
Well, there's our doggy.
Although, weirdly, the dogs are at all of the murders.
Oh. No, the dogs are fine.
No, the dogs are fine. We're not blaming the doggies.
No.
But yeah, I think that's it for this week.
Odd little ramble.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
Yeah, in the meantime.
Keep creeping.
And we'll keep digging.